So check out this majestic beast in its natural habitat, right? So besides being mildly disturbing, I've been told that open loops like this give the audience an indication of what's to come in a video. So this is what our miniature 44 chassis will look like at the end of part 5. Okay, so welcome back. In the last video, you would have found me celebrating a touch too early when I realized that my cases were 2 different sizes. The hammer and the Triton transfer cases are 2 different widths. They're about 5mm apart. So with the way I had this chassis set up, there really wasn't a lot of extra room for me to rotate or clock this transfer case and try to compensate for the extra size. At least not without it hitting the inside of the frame rail. So this week I took some time, I notched out the inside of the frame, and I used more brass to build this brand new crossmember. Now that everything's all sanded and prepped, I'm going to bolt it into place. I'm going to get some solder on it. I want to complete the crossmember for the transmission, working towards getting the mid to rear section in the final primer coat. Then I'll reassemble and we can take a good look and see how everything sits so far. So we've got some catching up to do. I did get a little behind on the video. I got this nice new crossmember soldered in, made the decorative brackets, and got this midsection all prepped. But I got to looking around and thought, you know what, I should just prime the entire thing. It's a really nice milestone to hit, and as always, it'll highlight all the little imperfections and give me a chance to fix those as I go. I can finally get to drilling the holes here, here, and here on both sides, so I can finally get these brackets on to hold the body mounts. Again, the engine and transmission are bolted back in using this new section. The transfer case is bolted to its new crossmember, and you can see that they sit dead center, so now the driveline has a straight run down the middle. I think the new crossmember matches the profile of the transfer case really well. And this new setup is actually even closer to the Icon 44s than the last version. So that little hiccup in the last video really worked to my advantage. I'm pretty fortunate I had to reconfigure this. So you can see how tight this was. This is why I had to machine down the edge of the transfer case and bite into the edge of the frame rail a bit. Really didn't want to do this, but it seemed to be the only way to get the stuff running down the center. So I'm going to take a few minutes, toss this thing together, and show you what it looks like in its current state. Gotta tell you, I'm happy to have this back together, and even happier to have this midsection sorted out. My new crossmembers worked out well. The transfer case is in, and everything's running straight down the center. So bolt drive shafts are now back in. I had run into some potential binding issues on the crossmember and the transmission when this side of the case sat a bit higher. It would have been even worse once I got a pan on here and some of the scale parts. But now, there's no clearance issues, there's no binding, everything's aligned, and I just think it looks way more authentic. With the relief of having the driveline issues sorted and the back half actually starting to look like something. I wanted to add some of the more fun detail stuff when reassembling, so I'm using the balance of this hardware kit from Locked Up RC. They really are a nice detail when you want to bring the scale elements up. Also, finally, after all of this, I've got the brackets on for the body mounts. And I'm coming up with ideas on how to make better bushings for this. But we're one step closer to getting floors in this thing and the body sitting on it. Alright, so in the next video, we'll be working on EV stuff. This is the mock-up fuel cell, and it's going to live right back here. This pretty much wraps things up. If you want to, like and subscribe. If you're looking for me on Instagram, I'm at Supernatural Farmer. And as always, thanks very much for watching these videos. I'll see you next time.